Bardock struggles past the guards of King Vegeta, pushing and blasting his way through. The commotion angers the king, but he recognizes the name of that low-class warrior, Bardock, a renowned warrior. He sighed as he walked to his throne. This better be worth his time. Unknown to him, the information that Bardock has will mean life or death, as the evil Emperor Frieza plans their destruction. Hostile takeover. What if Goku and Vegeta went with their families to Earth? If you'd like to support the channel, then be sure to check out our Patreon. Link is in the description. As the sun sets on planet Vegeta, Bardock pushes and shoves his way into the king's throne room, begging the king for an audience. Tired of yelling, the king waves his hand to allow Bardock to speak. Even if he was a low-class warrior, he was still legendary for his skills in battle. Bardock tries to convince the king about Frieza destroying planet Vegeta because of some things the Heaters had said. The king laughs it off, but the thought remains in his mind. The king waves Bardock off of his premises, but in the next few days, he realizes that he cannot escape the idea. King Vegeta eventually decides that the possibility of Frieza destroying the planet is higher than he'd like to admit. Thus, in secret, he meets with Bardock, who had already been creating plans. Bardock was simply going to rescue his son, but to his surprise, the king arrived at his doorstep. Not only that, but he had brought the young prince and even Raditz along. With his resources and maybe even Bardock's help, King Vegeta acquires a ship with cloaking technology so power levels can't be detected. King Vegeta, Prince Vegeta, Bardock, Gine, Raditz, and Kakarot head off to Earth before planet Vegeta is vaporized. The king had some complaints about the planet chosen, but admitted that Frieza was unlikely to go there. The king had left Nappa in charge for a couple days, but when those days became weeks, he knew something was up. Soon enough, Frieza's forces were knocking on the door, asking where the king was, but Nappa was loyal and never gave it up until he was killed by Dodoria and Zarbon. Angry, Frieza takes it out on his own soldiers, but with King Vegeta already gone, there is no way for Frieza to find where he went. Either way, this is the end of the Saiyan race. He'll have to worry about Vegeta later. Upon landing on Earth, King Vegeta immediately orders his soldiers, Bardock's family, to conquer the planet. The Saiyans didn't take long in finding the king's castle. Part of Bardock didn't feel okay with doing this, but they needed to live comfortably. After all, they were the strongest beings on the planet now. Why shouldn't they rule? The king certainly seemed excited about it, but as the king blasted through army forces, Bardock stopped firing, disheartened. He thought maybe he could have escaped the life of destruction after leaving Vegeta, but that was not the case. Gine grabbed onto Bardock. She knew what he was thinking, but the king yelled at Bardock to continue fighting, as Prince Vegeta swarmed the army easily. Once they were defeated and the king kicked out, King Vegeta stepped up to give a broadcast speech through the world, declaring himself as the ruler. Over the years, under the new Saiyan rule, Earth's society changed. Capable Earthlings with strong power levels or connections to the king are given higher status over the rest, though they only serve as Cybermen while Vegeta trained. He even killed some, like General Blue, accidentally during sparring. Master Shen decided to betray humanity and became King Vegeta's advisor in order to get in his good graces and achieve a higher standing in this new world order. But Bardock's heart was never in it, even while living comfortably. In fact, he thought them being so outspoken about ruling Earth could be detrimental and potentially reveal their location. Gine agreed with Bardock, though they never spoke to each other about it. She hated seeing her husband like this, not realizing that he was doing this against his own will. She was scared of the king, and especially the prince. She was worried about the influence he was having on Raditz, and eventually Kakarot. Raditz loved that they had taken over Earth and was fiercely loyal to the prince. Eventually, while Bardock was doing one of his chores, picking up loads of meat for the castle, somebody fired a blast at him. It was a young martial artist with no nose and no hair. It didn't hurt very much, but it was impressive. He rushed in, ready to kill, but stopped himself. pulling his arm down and just leaving. In his face, not only did he see Kakarot, but also the face of Granola, the young Cerulean he saved a few years back. Once he returned, he had a heart-to-heart with Gine. He explained his thoughts, and she was surprised, though Bardock expressed that he was afraid of the king. Gine took a step forward and slapped Bardock, telling him to never be afraid, especially not of a man like that. She asked him if he ever dared to check his power level before. Bardock shook his head no, since Scouters could give them away to Frieza. Gine says that she had done that before, and she knows for a fact that Bardock is stronger than the king, that Bardock can defeat the king, but the prince, he's a different beast. They need training.
Hey kids, don't go away. We'll be right back.
Hey everyone, I hope you're enjoying the video thus far. If you like this sort of content, want to see more, and support the channel, then consider becoming a Patreon. There, you can help support the channel through various tiers while getting some perks of your own. As a Patreon, you will be helping improve the videos, get them out faster, fund the awesome thumbnails, editing, and much more. Overall, this is the best way to ensure that I can keep providing you guys with awesome Dragon Ball content. Plus, you get some neat perks, like an extra discussion video every other week, early access to videos such as this one, and behind-the-scenes content. So be sure to go to patreon.com/SmugStick and consider supporting the channel. Thank you to all the current patrons for your support, and let's get back into the story.
And now back to our show.
Bardock went back to where the kid had attacked before and found that he was there once again. This time he was just watching until an old, bald man dragged him away. The pattern repeated itself for a few days, until one time he finally took Gine and Kakarot as well. This time he followed them and found them going into Capsule Corp. Inside, in actuality, was a secret base where the world's greatest fighters had gathered together in order to find a way to defeat the Saiyans. Master Roshi, Grandpa Gohan, a young Krillin, Tien Chaozu, the Ox King Chi-Chi Nam, and even Mr. Satan gathered together. Krillin was raised a normal martial artist since he was born, so although he was only around 8 years old, he was knowledgeable, especially after he was taken in by Master Roshi, as he searched for warriors in every school he could think of, while Tien saw the wrong in his master's way early on, leaving with Chaozu. In the middle of the conversation, Bardock and Gine broke through the door, where they were immediately attacked by everyone. Bulma had weapons, while everyone else blasted. None was too powerful, but Bulma's weapons were impressive, even feeling as if his tail was being grabbed. Somehow, they had figured out the weakness of the Saiyans. Bardock was tired of it, blowing them all back. He looked at the pieces of Bulma's weapon, destroyed. Now that was impressive. You all are exactly what Gine and I need. Listen, if you are smart enough to make this, then you are all smart enough to fight. And a fight is what we need. Gohan asked what the name of the young kid was, as he slowly approached. Come on everyone, look at them, look at him. This boy hasn't done anything wrong. For him, for our kids, it's worth trusting them. Isn't that right, young Kakarot? They soon joined the rebellion. They all had individual stories, such as Bulma running away for a short period of time, and Tenshinhan, who had become a world-renowned gladiator at King Vegeta's annual gladiator games. Bardock gave them hints about defeating the Saiyans, trained with them, and even gave Bulma the idea of building a gravity chamber. But as they made plans to storm the castle, Bardock brings up the idea of the Cybermen and Raditz, and how none of them are strong enough just yet. They need strong fighters to train. As a last resort, Roshi brought up Piccolo, much to the behest of Gohan. Roshi says that if they can control him, he could be an incredible asset. Thus, they found the Mafaba Jar and freed the Demon King. Bardock admitted that he and his kids were impressive, but they would need a lot more training. Piccolo retorted with an attack, but Bardock easily stopped them. Bardock lied to King Piccolo, telling him that he was free to rule Earth if they were victorious. Some time passes, and the Z-Fighters train, with no news of the betrayal reaching the king. However, both the humans and the elite both get news of the Dragon Balls around the same time, from Roshi and the Crane Hermit, respectively. Both factions spread through the world, trying to obtain them, with Bardock helping the king, but in reality, finding them for Roshi with the Dragon Radar. The first Dragon Ball is found at a Capsule Corp attic. The second one is with Roshi, as he had kept it as a necklace for many years. The third one is with Bardock. A few years back, the royal family received pleas from Aru village about a demon that was kidnapping young daughters. King Vegeta refused to help, since they were just worthless peasants, but Bardock decided to help instead. Bardock defeats Oolong easily, arresting him and rescuing the village girls. As a token of their appreciation, and though a little scared, the village rewards him with a Dragon Ball. He gave it to Gine as a present. The fourth Dragon Ball was in the burning castle at Mount Frypan. Both the rebel forces and the Crown's elite guard arrived at the same time, tracking its signal. The rebels, Kakarot, Bulma, Yamcha, Puar, and Chi-Chi, and the Royal Guard, Raditz, and some others, fight as the Dragon Ball eventually lands in the hands of the rebels. Raditz couldn't believe what he was seeing, but Kakarot was not only fighting against them, but he was getting much stronger. Bardock had told Kakarot not to go after them, since he could run into his brother, but now it was too late. Raditz approached Bardock about this, and he told him that he would reprimand his brother for playing games like that. But Raditz remained cautious, distrustful of his father. The fifth Dragon Ball was in the Pilaf Castle, and the sixth is with Gohan. Gohan was arrested by the Royal Guard and placed in a maximum security prison. The rebels have a plan to break him out and bust Gohan out of prison. When the rebels break out Gohan and ask where the Dragon Ball is, he reveals that he ate it before the guards took him in. Bulma gives him some pills, and eventually they get handed the Dragon Ball. The final Dragon Ball was with Bulma, as she managed to take it from the castle as her father works under threat of death. The king is angry that they can't find the Dragon Balls, admitting that this would be a lot more helpful if they were a little bit smarter and Dr. Briefs worked faster, not knowing that Dr. Briefs was perfectly capable of creating a Dragon Radar. He just refused. But as Goku was flying away, retrieving the final Dragon Ball to the secret location, which was lead sealed, thus no Dragon Radar could detect it, the Pilaf gang revealed that they had finally constructed their own Dragon Radar. Without wasting any time, King Vegeta himself leads the way, but it's to his surprise that they find Kakarot holding the ball. He congratulates the kid in finding it, and tells him to hand it over. When he refuses, Raditz starts to get nervous, and tells his brother to do as the king says. The king looks at Bardock, cocking an eyebrow, asking him what the hell he's been teaching that kid. But something sparks within Bardock. He perks up and looks behind Kakarot. He can sense it. He couldn't believe it, but he could actually sense Ki. All that time with Master Roshi and the rest had really helped, and he could sense the rebellion army approaching. Without wasting a beat, Bardock says,
"But this life of destruction is a life I can no longer lead. Take this!"
The king's eyes widen as he gets blasted, and all of the army arrives. Raditz versus Kakarot, Cybermen versus the army, Gine versus the king, and Bardock versus the prince. They all switch between opponents, with Gine being severely hurt. Though, thanks to the couple of years of training in the gravity chamber against Bardock, as well as the help of Korin with the holy water, all of the humans are much stronger, and they are able to support the Saiyans. An amusing sight is seeing Master Roshi and King Piccolo as Piccolo leads his army of demons, and Roshi the army of humans. A giant Kiko-Ho gets rid of a large portion of the Cybermen, while Roshi, Gohan, Krillin, and even Kakarot fire Kamehamehas all together at the prince. Goku made sure to protect Chi-Chi, as the two of them had grown very close together. Bardock told them to do what they can to get rid of the tails of the enemy, while lamenting having to fight his own son, telling him that this isn't the way, that they don't have to rule over them, they can just simply live together. But Raditz wouldn't listen, but Bardock didn't have the heart to fight him, letting the humans and Kakarot deal with him. No matter what they try, they aren't able to cut the king's tail off, and their time was running out. Tonight was a full moon, and as it began to shine in the sky, Bardock, Gine, Kakarot, Raditz, Vegeta, and the king all turned into Ozaru. The king and the prince were the only ones to remain in control, while the others fought indiscriminately. Thankfully, them being attacked by the king made them angry, and Bardock's family focused on them. This battle rocked the whole world, and though Bardock's family seemed to be the stronger one this time, merely because of numbers, they weren't nearly as refined as the prince. Bulma utilized her machine, the one that focused on the Saiyans' tails, to slow them all down, in order for the fighters to blast at their tails. King Piccolo declared himself as the ruler of the world, as he aimed directly at the tail of Raditz, firing a finger blast that took the ape down. In response, King Vegeta slapped King Piccolo away like a fly, followed by a mouth beam. Right before it hit, King Piccolo gave birth to one final egg, firing it as far away as possible to make sure that he left a legacy behind. All the other demons rushed in at King Vegeta, giving everyone else a chance to take his tail down. It was only a matter of time until those demons died, and slowly the Ozaru came falling down. Raditz was the first to go down, then the king, then Gine. Finally Bardock, but the prince was never hit. Without much of a choice, Bardock took a gamble, running in between the prince's legs, grabbing onto his tail and slamming him into the ground. All the Saiyans were a little confused and couldn't stand correctly. They weren't used to walking without their tails. That's when Bardock yelled at them to use the Dragon Balls right now. Gohan looked at Bardock in the eyes, asking in that stare if he was sure. Bardock simply nodded. Meanwhile, the king yelled at Pilaf and his allies to use the Dragon Balls to wish for their tails to grow back. Bulma and Pilaf both rushed to the Dragon Balls, and as Shenron was summoned, they both yelled out their wish at the exact same time, while the prince, Raditz, and the king fired their blasts, and Gine, Bardock, and Kakarot responded with their own. One of the wishes was made, and a bright light consumes everyone, just as the blast exploded in the middle. Smoke surrounded them all, unsure which wish had been granted, but as Bardock stepped up and extended his hand out to the king, it was clear it was not the one the king wanted. He asked what the hell he wished for, and Bardock turned around slowly.
I wished for Earth to forget us, because a king whom no one knows is no king at all.
An angry Prince Vegeta wants to attack, but the king stops him, saying that it's over. They have been bested, and at the end of the day, Bardock, as the new king, gets to declare what to do. Bardock says that he's right, he is the king, and his first declaration is for them all to live peacefully now, to blend in among the rest of the humans. And with that, no Saiyan will have the crown. But Prince Vegeta and Raditz were both upset, saying that this was ridiculous. How did they expect to defeat Frieza if they couldn't even rule over this planet? But for now, he had to let it go. Even he didn't have that much strength left. And so, some time passes, and Earth goes back to normal. Bulma goes through her boxes in her attic, where she discovers an old photo with old friends. She looks at the picture and sees Kakarot, Gine, and Bardock. She immediately starts to tear up, but she doesn't understand why. As far as she knows, she has no idea who these people are, but they seem so familiar to her. Meanwhile, Krillin, Tien, Yamcha, and Chi-Chi start to have similar events where they can't seem to recall someone important. There's something missing in their heart. Krillin, Tien, Yamcha, and Bulma meet up as Bulma shows them the picture and asks if they know who these people are. King Vegeta lives alone on the mountains, a simple, old man, watching the world go around him, though Bardock visits him often. Bardock, Gine, Raditz, and Kakarot live on Earth all together, and though Raditz doesn't like his brother nor his family very much, and prefers to spend time with King Vegeta, he has mellowed out through the years. Prince Vegeta, however, decided to go around the world, traveling, finding ways to get stronger in order to defeat Frieza, never giving up on his goal, sometimes causing havoc. And it's during those times when Kakarot has to step up and try to stop him, though it never goes beyond a few altercations when humans make him upset, and Kakarot never quite beats him, but Vegeta recognizes his strength, slowly growing to appreciate him as a rival. Some more time passes, with Chi-Chi now being a teenager. She's in Mount Frypan, picking up flowers when a figure appears nearby. She makes eye contact as the figure reveals himself to be Kakarot. He smiles at her as he undoes his turban, revealing the unruly hair. Chi-Chi's eyes widen. She could recognize this boy, but she didn't know from where. Goku simply smiles and reintroduces himself, saying that if memory serves right, asking her for her name, and finally, for a battle against her. He wants to see just how strong she's gotten. Thank you for watching, everyone. This story has been in the back burner for a long time. I always love doing these what if Goku went to Earth with blank. They're always a lot of fun, and this one was pretty different from the usual ones. I wonder what will happen next, now that not only Goku is on Earth, but also Bardock, Gine, Raditz, King Vegeta, and Prince Vegeta. And remember, Vegeta will always be a threat to Earth until somebody changes his ways. Let me know what you thought of this video down in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for the best Dragon Ball what-ifs out there. Also, a quick thank you to Professor Chimp as we planned this story out together. So if you want to see more, be sure to tell me in the comments below. I'm recording this a few weeks ahead of time, so If I haven't said your name and you've become a Patreon, then I'm so sorry. I'll be sure to catch up as soon as I'm back home. Currently, I'm traveling around a little bit. Shout out to my Patreons: Jesse Williams, D. Miles, The Gaming Galaxy, Dakota Kaiser, Salil Paranjape, Keith Grimes, Jordan Dowes, Thayer45, Celestia, Tyler Sparling, Robot, Ethan, Legone, Dreadpool, Phil J. Akir, The Baked Potato, Bartek, and Samuel Randall. Thank you guys for your support as we transition into Patreon. Anyways, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and until we meet again. See ya!